Hey, Stevo, did you feel and see the rage building up in Moises Caicedo as he was shoving Arsenal lads around, and he was thinking to himself, I'm not doing enough here. This is not getting under their skin enough. I'm going to have to leave one in on one of their players pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It was weird because I was watching Chelsea, Barcelona during the week and Arsenal, Bayern Munich, just to make sure I was ready for yesterday. And I was looking at Moises Caicedo thinking, I think this is the best performance I've seen him put under Chelsea. I think it was Chelsea's best performance they'd put in under Enzo Maresca. And I was actually looking at him. I'm not just talking about the way he played, and it was almost like his body shape really reminded me of Claude Makelele. And I was thinking, this guy is really, really starting to look like one of the best midfielders in the world right now. And he's obviously got that bit of attacking prowess, but he's generally, I suppose, a bit like N'Golo Kanté, another predecessor at Chelsea. He's there to put out fires, and he was running the width of the pitch. He was stopping Barcelona attacks, and it was absolutely brilliant. And you're thinking, if he does this against Arsenal, Arsenal are going to be really properly tested. And as well with Reece James playing so well alongside him. But yesterday, I'm not sure if it was kind of because he was linked with Arsenal before he went to Chelsea as well, and it was almost like, you know, Arsenal, the league leaders, I've got a point to prove here because I chose Chelsea and we've got a better chance of winning the league. And it was almost like he went in with that kind of edge to his play, and some of the tackles were a bit mad. And that one that he got red carded for, he definitely did try to go for the ball, but it was sloppy in a way, and it was a bit disappointing after what he'd done against Barcelona. But as well, the match didn't have a huge amount of great chances, but it was one of those. I don't know. Look, you see, when you're commentating on a match, you're really involved in it. But I felt that it was one of those games that was really engrossing. I was kind of going, I love the needle to it. I love the way these two teams are going toe to toe. It was like two sluggers in heavyweight boxing. So yeah, I actually thought it was a really brilliant game, and I thought Chelsea were magnificent to go down to 10 men. Take the lead. Granted, they conceded the equaliser. I think they're a team that could challenge. I'm not saying challenge for the title, but I think they'll keep Arsenal honest for the rest of the season.
The regret is on their side from yesterday, I would say. I think that there was a real opportunity with 11 men for them to actually go and win this game.
Yeah.
And I think obviously it's understandably going to be framed around could Arsenal have done more against 10-man Chelsea, but Chelsea were really, really good with 10 men. They've clearly learned a lot from what they did at Old Trafford.
Yeah, they didn't look like they were a man down for most of that game. I didn't think so anyway.
For me, it's the rare occasion where I think both fans have a right to be very, very happy with what happened.
A real settle for a draw.
Yeah, but
also
anyway. Because they were it was an earned draw by both sides. But what you have from Chelsea is I don't think people think that Chelsea are equipped for a title race at this stage. I think it's probably early in their journey, but those of us who suggested that this year should be the year that they do kick on, because it just felt like a more settled team and less chaos around them, and then you start to see the level of player and the quality that they've bought and spent so much money on, and I think that's becoming more and more apparent. And I thought, again, they had a great week. They were obviously so good, as you mentioned, against Barcelona, but oh god, they just came out on fire. But Arsenal also, you have to look from their point of view. I know probably because of 10 men, but you don't know how the game would have went with 11 either. They did concede the goal after that. They withstood it, and they're not going to be able to, win every game comfortably for the rest of the season. And these are the games that you use your lead for. And you've got your away versus the top 3 or 4 challengers. You get a point from them. The way Arsenal are playing, they're going to saunter to the league. So I think it's one of those ones where both teams will be delighted, because Arsenal weren't completely outmatched or anything like that. It just felt like Chelsea were super up for this game and playing very well, and that can happen on a day.
And we should say as well, Saliba being ruled out just before kick-off.
Well, yeah, you have Saliba and
the
Gabriel.
fact that they did it without Saliba and Gabriel, Arsenal will take huge confidence out of that. And I'd imagine that was probably part of the reason Chelsea were so motivated at the start of the game. It was like they saw the team sheet, kind of thinking, here's our chance now. But they didn't manage to get the win. I thought Nketiah was good, maybe not really tested. Mosquera, I like the look of Mosquera, but he's still a bit rough around the edges.
Real Lisandro Martinez vibes off Nketiah. Bit of a butcher about him. Won't be afraid to exaggerate any little bit of a nick that's left on him either.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get under the skin of plenty an opponent.
Him and in the research, I think it's himself and Caicedo played 46 international games together for Ecuador, and I think they played maybe 6-7 times for Independiente del Val, the club that they both started out at as young lads. So they know each other really, really well. And yeah.
Dark horses for the World Cup next year is what I'm hearing from Stevo there before they fall flat in the group stages, which is how all dark horse predictions tend to go. We're going to have plenty more on this, as I say, in the football show later, and we'll be coming back to the football in your extended bumper Monday Newsround, Stevo. But we do need to start with matters closer to home. Mayo Bridge in raptures last night in County Down, Stevo.
Yeah, well, look, I won't spend too much time talking about this first. What a night it was for Charlie Smyth, the New Orleans place kicker who made his debut in the NFL last night.
We don't have that. We'll come back to that in just a moment. But Charlie Smyth had got the call up, as we'd seen beforehand, on Friday night, I believe it was, that he was going to be told that he was going to be in the team for this weekend. New Orleans not having a great season, but we don't really care about that. I don't think Charlie Smyth really cares too much about how his team is going this season.
Yeah.
Getting his first start, and as you see the scenes afterwards, this is just a rightfully joyous moment for him and his entire family.
It was brilliant. And I think we obviously had the other side of it this year with Jude McAtamney with the Giants, who, like, don't get me wrong, played in the NFL and had his moments too, but obviously he missed 2 extra points in his debut and became the villain of a defeat. And it's an awful place, the world of an NFL kicker, because you really don't get much credit if things go right, but you get all the blame if things go wrong. Except for last night, when this awful Saints team, their first score of the game was like late in the second half, and it's like this 58-yard field goal, and I kind of remember just he was about to kick it. Oh, hold on, this is Charlie Smyth. I forgot about that. Having watched earlier on when they're going to be nilled today. He's not even going to get a kick, except for kickoffs. And then, so that's great. That's his first NFL kick. That gets a bit of credit. Like, that gets people talking. Wow, in a world where these people get no credit, he was getting it. But what happened later when the Saints were on a comeback and for him to nail an onside kick, now controversially I would say, because it was a perfect onside kick because they're basically impossible, but the Saints guy caught it after 9 yards. The ref said that it touched a Dolphins player, which would make the ball live. Couldn't be overruled because it might have scraped their finger basically. But from Charlie Smyth's point of view, it was a perfect kick, and onside kicks do not get recovered. We are talking, I don't have the numbers, but I'm going to guess 5%.
Nick, explain an onside kick. To me, it looked like a rugby grubber almost. But
so what you have is in NFL, after you score, you kick the ball away to the other team. There are ways you can, and especially now, you actually have to call it in advance. You can't do it because the rules are different. So you have to say you're doing an onside kick. Which
I didn't realise that.
Oh yeah, because
when did they change that?
Well,
rule?
You see, because the kickoff rules keep changing, it's dynamic kickoff they're called these days. You're in a different part of the field, and all the players have to stand in different places. Whereas for an onside kick, it's basically the old, almost rugby rules. You stand behind the kicker and you go for it. And the ball, like a kickoff in rugby, has to go 10 yards, and once it does, it's up for grabs. But they've also made it harder as well for safety reasons, because you didn't want 20 lads running into each other at full pace in full pads and helmets. You have to separate where you're 11 players, you're the kicker, so you have 5 on one side, 5 on the other side of the pitch. You have to kick it one way or the other. So there's loads of things going against them. They just don't work anymore. All the other team have all their wide receivers and all out there who are all their hands team, as they're called in NFL, who will go and catch the ball. So again, I'm thinking it's maybe 5%. They have to do it because there's not enough time in the game for them to give a full possession up to the other team. They have to get the ball back straight away to score the touchdown. Anyway, they won it, of course, because they're the New Orleans Saints and they're terrible this year. They didn't do anything with the possession that they got. But it was a great moment because, again, the field goal was going to get that bit of publicity anyway, but it'd be quickly forgotten. But for your debut to have also a recovered onside kick, he could play 10 years in the NFL and never recover another onside kick.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable thing.
Right, have a listen to this.
This is 56 yards away. The kick is out, and it's good. Charlie Smyth, a first-year international halfway player, the native of Northern Ireland in his first NFL game, a former Gaelic football player. His first kick in the NFL regular season. Good for 56. Tighten things for the Saints. It must travel 10. And it does! The Saints live!
Yes, there you have it on the commentary from that brilliant work from Charlie Smyth last night in that game. Hat tip there to Michael McQuaid, the NFL freelance journalist who went up to Mayo Bridge and got some of that recording from. There was a pub with Charlie Smith's grandparents, his uncles, and some more family. And then there was another pub where there was just a gang of lads from Mayo Bridge who just seemed to be having the best Sunday night of their lives. They're absolutely really enjoying themselves. It was brilliant. And as you mentioned as well, he only found out on Friday that he was starting. His mum and dad, Julie and Leo, along with his coaches, Ty Gleeder and Conor Mangan, they flew that night, Friday night, a 23-hour journey from Dublin through Chicago, and after a flight delay as well, into Miami to be there for the moment on Sunday. Real planes, trains and automobiles vibe there to that Thanksgiving trip. But yeah, just brilliant stuff. I was actually watching Roma versus Napoli, waiting for King Evan to get his second goal for Roma. And then I'm seeing my phone light up with Charlie Smith's doing. Oh, God, I have to check this out. But yeah, look, I'm not the biggest NFL fan, but I think everybody was their imaginations were caught by this one last night.
What I'm looking forward to is when the NFL fans go back through his Wikipedia to try and describe what is the peak of Charlie Smith's Gaelic football prowess. How do we succinctly put it in one line that this guy was good at Gaelic football? And they'll probably come up with something like, he was runner-up in the Talton Cup, and that'll be the line that they go with. And I mean, like, it's an unbelievable story.
They'll call it the Talton Cup.
Talton.
Right. Great moment if you were watching it live on Red Zone. Nobody was watching unless you're a Saints or a Dolphins fan. That wasn't the game we were watching at 6 o'clock last night. So watching it on Red Zone where they went to it, and the brilliant Scott Hansen, in fairness, like one of the best hype men and one of the best continuity men in sports broadcasting.
Definitely.
By a mile. He is superb, never misses a beat. Missed a little bit of a beat last night, got a little bit confused by the political situation around what Gaelic football is, where he initially called it beautifully as like, this is an amazing story, 58-yard, his first ever kick in the NFL, Irish native, Charlie Smith, and he kind of explains that, and then he decides to say a little bit more and gets like really confused, where he says he came from Gaelic, and just stopped and went, the sport that they play over there in Northern Ireland. Which they do.
But I'm just worried now, is this going to start, like, are we going to see, coaches from NFL teams now coming over to watch minor Gaelic football teams? Are we going to see another archery opening up akin to the AFL archery, with seeing a lot of players being swiped?
The best kicker in the NFL at the moment, Brandon Aubrey for the Dallas Cowboys, is a former soccer player. I don't know if he quite played MLS, but definitely like college level, and would have been at that level. And there is more and more a thing here is like, you don't need footballers, like as in NFL, as in American footballers, to become kickers, guys who did it in high school or anything like that, because it's not the emphasis anywhere. You want people who have been kicking balls all their life, basically, So I mean, you can even immediately see it. Like, there's just a natural way about a very good Gaelic footballer. Like, we're talking county level. I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be great at this.
I also think that it's one of those roles where you don't know how good you're going to be until you actually do the job.
Yeah.
I presume there's hundreds of thousands of people who could potentially kick a 56-yard field goal in sterile circumstances. It's actually when you get thrown into the situation when you realise, oh God, everything I've worked for the last couple of years builds up to this exact moment, and I don't have any second chances in this. And I know that if this goes badly wrong, I'm going to be the person that gets blamed. Maybe if it goes right, I'm going to be the person who gets the credit. But by and large, kickers get blamed when things go wrong for an NFL team, and how you handle that situation is unclear until it actually happens to you. And obviously, as you've mentioned there, this is all part of a piece with the Jude McAtamney story this year, which just exposes that same brutality. But I guess Charlie Smith is feeling the positive side of that. You do have another piece of audio?
Yeah, well, that's just leading nicely into the Saints quarterback, Tyler Shook, speaking after the game, saying how impressed he was by the former County Down footballer.
Yeah, I mean, it was ice cold, man, ice cold in his veins. I think that's tough whenever you're sitting around the whole game. You're kind of trying to stay warm. I think he did a really good job just coming in. I think the team saw that, just his neutrality. Even in the kicking competition throughout the whole week, he came in there and he made a really tough kick because we got to be able to convert on that. And we knew we had to get points, so I was just really proud of him stepping up there.
For him to have the onside too.
Yeah.
What's to say about him?
I mean, I see him practicing every single day. You know, him and Groupie and all those guys, they're dialed in on their craft, and I think that just gives a credit to him and all the whole special teams just stepping up really big there, because that's a huge play. And like I said, defense did a really good job all day, and we got to find a way to complement off that. But yeah, Charlie was a huge deal for us.
He seems to be a very popular guy in the dressing room as well.
Yeah.
Is that accurate, or like just based off the player's body language, especially when he obviously made like a 56-yard in the ring?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty tough stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then executed like a inch perfect onside kick.
I think just who he is as a person, I think just that's why we love him. I think how he operates every single day, just coming to work, I think you got to respect that and who he is. You never know what he's saying sometimes. You might have to hear it say it twice, but he's got a great attitude, and I think he's coming in there and he's got that dog in him for sure. So was proud of him, and like I said, we got to get some more PATs for him.
He's got that dog in him. It doesn't get much better than that in terms of praise. That was glowing from his QB, which is amazing. So they're 2-10, I think, the Saints this season. They're not having a good time of it. He's got his opportunity now. I presume this is one of the good news stories, of which there are a few around the Saints this season, and he is now seen as like a medium-term option, or is there somebody who's going to come into this position at the end of the season potentially?
Yeah.
Give us the medium-term prospects.
They have a player called, I think it's Groupie, G-U-R-P-E, who is fairly well thought of, and I'm not sure his position is in immediate danger. But the thing about bringing in an international player, and he'll be on a rookie deal as well, is that it wouldn't be a big investment if they were to move on from a guy like Groupie. You could go and get a free agent deal somewhere else, you know what I mean? So I would say he's nailed that. If he's in for a few weeks, and I don't know the injury situation at the moment, but if he is in for a few weeks, he'll have a chance, because it doesn't take long for you to kind of forget eating bread in the NFL. And if he's the guy, he's the guy. And the Saints are in the middle of a rebuild, whether it's Shook, a quarterback, he's a rookie and he's been given a chance halfway through the season and has shown moments. They've got a decent defence. There's a chance there that the Saints could become relevant in the next couple of years. We don't know as yet, but look, it's exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely. So this is a story that we're going to cover a good bit with Fiona Hayes after 8 o'clock. Leinster Rugby. Jacques Nienaber was put out to face the media today, and there's been a bit of a storm around Nienaber in recent weeks about his future. He's got a contract with Leinster until the end of the 2027 domestic season. He said in an interview with SuperSport that he misses the Springboks, and there's been some suggestion that he could be back with the Springboks for the 2027 World Cup. What's he been saying today, Stevo?
Well, today only he was claiming that those comments made to SuperSport were taken out of context. It was the week, of course, building up to the Ireland versus South Africa Autumn Nations Series match. When asked about a possible return to the Springboks, well, in fact, he was asked about his long-term plans, not specifically returning to the Springboks. He outlined his current situation in the interview, saying that he had recently extended his Leinster contract, which will now expire after the 26-27 season. He added, "You never know how things will work out," but also said that he is grateful where he is now. Now, Rassie Erasmus said at his press conference last week, in the wake of those comments, if the IRFU allowed the Springboks to speak to Nienaber ahead of the 2027 World Cup, he would definitely like to have him back in their setup when his Leinster contract finishes. Today, Nienaber told reporters he felt that the narrative of him angling for a move was wrong.
I enjoy the box and I enjoy South Africa. I still love South Africa, so it doesn't sound like because I enjoy it here, I dislike what I did there. So that was the whole thing. That was the comment. And I mean, it's funny. I get used to it now. People just take the part there. I really love the Springboks. And then they just go on to that. So I guess it will probably be the same with what I'm saying here to you now. So somebody will probably just take whatever bits that I said now and whatever suits their narrative, they'll run with that. I said my contract with Leinster is until the end of this 2027 season. So that's when my contract finished, which is a fact. And I think it's common knowledge. I think it's in the public domain. Everybody knows that. I can't tell you what's going to happen after that. I know that I'm the sole provider of my family. So if my contract expires with Leinster, which I enjoy working with, which I love, that's why I extended my contract. But if my contract finished on whenever it's June or July 2027, whatever then is up, that's the best for me to provide for my family and that suits my family. I will definitely look at that because I have to provide for my family. There's nobody else that provides for my family. My wife's not working. She can't work as a physio in Ireland because it's a job that is there's enough physios here, so it's on the red list or whatever they call it. She can't. She's just a dependent on me. My 2 kids are studying. They're not working. So I must actually get a job. So hopefully I get a job after my contract expires.
Yeah, that's a very understandable position to be in. I'm not sure what the out of context point is, though. I certainly haven't seen information out there or pieces out there where my view of this has been altered based on a lack of factual information. Because I rewatched the SuperSport interview today, and we'll bring you more details on that after 8 o'clock, as I say. But the reality of the situation from the SuperSport interview is what he just said there. Contract's up in 2027. I missed the Springboks. I mean, it's right before the international window. He says he could go back to this. I don't think anybody was out there saying he is going back to the Springboks. I might have missed that.
Joe, my quick thing on it was Matt Pearce, the guy who interviewed him. The question was, so what's your long-term plans? What's going to happen in the future? He didn't actually specifically say, would you like to come back to work with the Springboks? He didn't actually say
it was an open question.
Yeah, exactly. And Nienaber said, look, I love working with the Springboks. I miss the guys, yada, yada, yada. And then spoke about how much he loves Leinster, why he extended his contract and all that kind of stuff. So there was, I just thought it was fairly, it feels like a bit of a storm in a teacup.
Yeah.
It was fairly inconsequential remarks. But I think it was the Rassie Erasmus comments that haven't really helped the situation, because he was the one that said, well, if the RFU allow us, we want to talk to him and maybe get him back in for the World Cup. So that's kind of maybe added fuel to what really it wasn't a fire, it was,
Yeah, I kind of agree, really. I don't think there's all that much in it, other than I wonder, listening to his comments today, though, where he's kind of emphasising I got to work. Is it a get off your ass to the RFU or to Leinster to make sure that he's not there a year and a half out from the end of his contract thinking, what am I going to be doing next year?
Is the year and a half not okay?
I feel like it is.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, again, from his point of view, is there an element of what's my future? Look who I am. Lock me down if you want me. If you don't, fine. I've got other options.
I predict that next summer Leinster will offer him a new contract if he's just won the European Cup with Leinster. And if he hasn't won the European Cup with Leinster, then maybe they won't offer him a contract extension, if you wanted to distill it down very basically. And then it's up to him whether or not he takes that contract offer or not, if this has been a successful season. I think that's time enough, 18 months out from when the contract is supposed to end. But I'm totally sympathetic to that point of view. You have to go and make your money when you're a coach. But I don't think anybody was saying that he shouldn't be going out to try and make the most amount of money for his own family.
Is there a feeling that he's being somehow disloyal to Leinster? Is that is there... I feel like he might be feeling that way because he's got a couple of questions about it, but I don't know if anybody's actually saying that or thinking that.
Because he's got the state secrets that he'll take to the Springbok camp, and they'll knock Ireland out of the quarter final.
He was always going to leave.
Was it interesting that he's talking about?
They don't need our state secrets, by the way.
In the SuperSport interview, he's talking about, it's great working with Jordy Barrett, Rico Ioane. He does mention the Irish players, but he's talking about cross pollination, and it's almost like Agent Nienaber coming back into the South African fold for the World Cup.
You might give us a breakdown then of the latest team news from Munster and Leinster. We're facing into the first week of the European season.
Yeah, mixed news for Leinster, because of course they are facing out the Champions Cup opener against Harlequins at the Aviva Stadium. All Black Rico Ioane could make his Blues debut, having joined up with the squad to train fully this week. Tommy O'Brien's expected to train after coming through return to play protocols. Well, Joe McCarthy is back fully fit with the squad. Andrew Porter, James Lowe and Robbie Henshaw will have their injuries assessed before a final call on their participation is made later in the week. Munster are monitoring Jack O'Donoghue, who came off in the URC loss to Sharks with a head knock. They're off to the Wreck, of course, to play Bath. Jean Klein, who was on international duty with the Springboks, is likely available, as to the new arrival Michael Alalatoa.
Okay, very good. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and then after ads we're going to be checking in on one of the fairy tale stories of the weekend in Gaelic games. So Kilmacud Crokes were beaten on a 112 to 110 scoreline yesterday by Moneyglass St. Ergnats, the club in Antrim. So we're going to be speaking to one of the players from the club about what was a massive, massive shock indeed. We're going to be getting the rest of Stevo's news round as well, which is extended on a Monday. And before all that, it's time for the cash machine.
News Talk's Christmas Cash Machine.
Now, the Christmas cash machine is here, and there's going to be a guaranteed €250,000 on Friday. The number you need to know is €250,000 exactly. There are two ways you can enter. You can visit newstalk.com/cash machine, where you can enter online, or you can text play to 57557. That's 57557. You have to get your entry in by 3 p.m. on Friday. Then across the Go Loud network of stations, someone is going to get that call. If your phone rings, you have to answer it within 5 rings. Give us the exact amount in euro and cent, and you'll win the cash. So remember that amount one more time, €250,000 exactly. It's over 18s only. Text costs €2.50 plus your standard message rate to play. You're playing across the Go Loud network of stations, and terms and conditions are on newstalk.com.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
This Christmas, there are families sitting at kitchen tables, caring for their loved ones whose skin is as fragile as a butterfly wing.
Some days are very difficult and other days are okay. Yeah, there's things I would have loved to have done. Maybe travelling, usual getting married, having children. You know, I don't know how long more I'm going to be here, but I'm not afraid of dying either.
EB has no known cure. Deborah is the only charity in Ireland supporting families living with EB. And this Christmas, they need your help, because nobody should be missing from the Christmas table.
You know, I hope there's good things, better things to come from it.
Your donation can bring comfort, care and real support to families living with EB. Please give what you can at deborah.ie/give.
Get our biggest Christmas savings yet, with up to 50% off Christmas at Woodies. That's 50% off all Christmas decorations, 50% off all indoor and outdoor Christmas lights. And if you're looking for the perfect tree this year, you'll find up to 50% off Christmas trees too. But hurry, offers only while stocks last. Shop in store, online or with click and collect. Woodies, we're all homemakers. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
What is it about Wineport Lodge? Is it that you can while away time, surrounded in sheer luxury? Or is it the fact that a wonderfully warm welcome always awaits you? Why, it's all this and more. Wineport Lakeshore Lodge. No wonder it's on everyone's Christmas wish list. For a choice of gift voucher options, visit wineport.ie.
Give the gift of endless choice this Christmas with a Dunnes Stores gift card. Give someone a whole new look with exclusive designer fashion. Give a taste of the divine with artisan foods from the very best of Ireland's producers. Give them a little lift with beauty products from Irish and international skincare brands. And give true craft with superb kitchen and homeware. Shop now at dunnstores.com/gift cards. Make Christmas for everyone at Dunnes Stores. Terms and conditions apply.
The IMRO award-winning sports programme.
Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
Welcome back to Monday evening's news round. It's Eoin and Mick and Stevo here with you. Where are we going to next, Stevo?
Well, just to give you an update on William Saliba, because Mikel Arteta said after that game against Chelsea yesterday that they will have him assessed today. We'll find out further what's going on there ahead of their match against Brentford, hopefully. He's due to give a press conference tomorrow. They play Brentford on Wednesday. So missing that 1-1 draw with Chelsea. Gabriel, of course, remains out with that thigh problem. That could be up till January. That Stamford Bridge big moment came in the 38th minute when the Chelsea midfielder Moise Caicedo was sent off following the VAR review for that late tackle on Mikel Merino. That's Chelsea's 6th red card of the season. The 10-man side took the lead shortly, though, after half-time when Travis Chalobah flicked his header from a corner, looping over David Raya and into the bottom corner. Arsenal levelling 11 minutes later when the Spain international Merino headed in Bukayo Saka's cross at the far post. There were 7 yellow cards to add to Caicedo's red in a tense, feisty contest with Estevao and Willian also having with Estevao, I should say, also having good chances in that game. But Arteta, speaking after the match, said he felt the opposition tried to target their booked players after the red card.
After the sending off of Caicedo, obviously we wanted to settle the game. We didn't manage to do that. We had more yellow cards. We had 4 yellow cards. obviously those players were constantly targeted to try to even the game in terms of numbers. And at halftime we said, okay, let's pause it now. Let's now get what we have to do, very clear what the intention and how we're going to dominate the game. In the first action, long ball gives a free kick, wide free kick, corner, consider set piece. So then the momentum shifts, and emotionally the team have to react to that. We managed to get some good spells without having too much momentum, score a great goal. And after that, yeah, we had 2 or 3 big chances, but we lacked certain detail, especially in the manner that we attacked to generate more, and especially as well to avoid certain transitions every time Robert had the ball in his hands.
Yep, so that was one of our 2 live games yesterday on Off the Ball. We also brought you Liverpool ending their losing run by beating West Ham 2-0. Alexander Isak scoring his first top flight goal for the Merseysiders. Aston Villa got a 1-0 win over Wolves in the Midlands Derby. Manchester United came from behind to beat Crystal Palace 2-1 before Brighton's 2-0 win at Nottingham Forest. Arsenal in first, City second, Chelsea third, Aston Villa fourth, Brighton fifth, Sunderland sixth, and Manchester United seventh, just ahead of Liverpool.
Alan's been in touch to say Arsenal have gone to Stamford Bridge, Anfield, Old Trafford, St James's Park and the Stadium of Light, and are 5 points clear. Second half of the season will be handier on paper, but games famously aren't played on paper.
Villa Park next weekend as well, you know,
yes.
so they'll play all the top teams away from home with that.
That's it. Point. Yeah, how many goals outside the box here Aston Villa going to score?
Well, at least 1, I would say.
Yeah.
And you
sure,
know,
that's not John Giles texting
lose the XG game, you know, and then see what happens. I thought that the Liverpool game was kind of interesting yesterday. I have to say there was an element that of, I think, in some ways coincidence that, you know, Isak scores on the day when Salah is dropped, and
that was an amazing finish, by the way.
It was a great finish. Again, like one swallow, etc. But
has it in his locker?
He does. Yeah, but we all know that. You see, that's what I'm saying. This isn't an unknown player. We know what's there. It's just he's been so abject in open play and everything. But he hasn't been connecting with that when he has got that odd snapshot off, like the way he did yesterday. So yeah, it's really positive.
Can I just say quickly as well? Listen. People need to realise as well the importance of pre-season training. And I know people will say that, look, God, we're 4 months into the season now, he should have caught up, whatever. You speak to any professional footballer at any level, if you miss pre-season, it doesn't matter how many games you play, they will all tell you you're always going to be playing catch-up with the rest of your teammates. And Isak didn't have a pre-season because, of course, he wasn't training with Newcastle, then came into Liverpool at the last minute. Same as Alexis McAllister, he was injured for most of the summer, didn't get to do a full pre-season with Liverpool. So I do think that that's an aspect of the, I suppose, loss of form for those 2 players that should be taken into consideration as well.
Yeah. Now, before we get to your roundup of the weekend's Gaelic games, we do want to touch on the All-Ireland Women's Club Football semi-final, which happened in Dublin over the weekend. So St Ergnats of Moneyglass in Antrim beat Kilmacud Crokes of Dublin on a 112 to 110 scoreline. Kilmacud were hoping to get straight back to the All-Ireland final after losing to Kilkerran Clonberne in last year's final, and St Ergnats became the first Antrim team to reach the All-Ireland final. Delighted to say that Eleanor Mallon, corner forward with St Ergnats, is with us on the line. Eleanor, many congratulations. How are you doing?
Thanks very much, lads. Yes, I couldn't be annoyed today.
Talk to us about what happens over the course of the weekend. Is it big celebrations last night? Is it straight back to work today, or how have you approached this?
These days don't come around too often, so you have to enjoy them whenever they do come around. But we took last night. It was sensible enough. So people were back to work today. We're back in the gym tonight, so we're heading there in a half an hour's time. So the work doesn't stop.
That is a brutal regime. Straight back to it.
Yeah, but listen, we're 2 weeks away from an All-Ireland final, so we don't really have too much time to waste.
Yeah. Talk to us about the approach to this game against Kilmacud Crokes. As I say, the national view might be that this is a massive upset. I dare say the view from within your camp might have been something a little bit different. I'm sure you fully believe that you could beat them.
Yeah, you know, as I said yesterday in another interview, the belief in this team is something that we haven't experienced before. It's maybe over the last 18 months, the last 12 months, that we've really dialed in and believed that we could actually do this. And somebody very important to me yesterday said that this was only a shock and an upset to those who haven't been paying attention. And I think, you know, that really does ring true, because anybody that's followed us for the last year or 10 years, they know what we put into this. And, you know, this hasn't just happened by accident. We've worked really, really hard for this. And I appreciate that, you know, whilst we have been knocking on the door of Ulster for a couple of years, essentially we are new kids on the block. But, you know, it hasn't just happened overnight. It's been hard, lots of hard work. And we knew within ourselves that we were capable of this. Nobody else, probably outside the four walls of our changing room and our wee community, gave us a chance. And fair enough, you know, there's nothing quite like being the underdog. But we know that we've got much more hard work to do over the next couple of weeks. But you know, nothing's impossible, and we're absolutely delighted to be in the position that we're in.
Talk to us about the wee community that you mentioned there. Moneyglass, St. Ergnats, is it a big club? Is it something that you've struck a generational crop of players with? What's the situation in Moneyglass?
It's a very small community on the shores of Lough Neagh in County Antrim, and there's not much in it. There's a great pub, there's a chapel, there's a few shops and a post office and a community hall and a couple of wee local primary schools, and honestly, that's it. And the Gaelic club. We've been lucky that within the community, the support and the people around us, you know, we couldn't do it without the people in the community. They've rallied around us through the worst days, all the bad days, but especially all the good days. And this is just as much for those people as it is for the players. I mean, it's every player's dream to be playing in Croke Park with your club on All-Ireland final day. But, you know, we couldn't do it without the people that have supported us along the way. And it is a very small community. It's a very tight-knit community. As I said, there's not that much in it, but there's great people there. Everybody's got a massive love for Irish culture and the Gaelic community, and it's brilliant. And you know, there's people in the club that have never been lucky enough to witness any of the boys or the girls in Croke Park before, and we are in a very privileged position now to allow them to witness that.
So you will be the first representatives from your club to play in Croke Park?
Yes, and we will be the first club in ladies football in Antrim to be in Croke Park as well.
It's amazing. What date is that final?
It's Saturday the 13th of December.
That would explain why the celebrations were curbed a little bit last night then. I mean, it is absolutely something that's right in focus.
It's a very quick turnaround. But you know what? That's what we want. It was a quick turnaround from our county championship to the first round of Ulster, and from then on it's been a 2-week turnaround between all of our games. So we wouldn't want it any other way. It wouldn't matter if we had another month or 2 months to prepare for this game. There's only so much we can do, and there's only so much that we can prepare for. And I honestly believe that we have enough in the tank to go and do it here.
Emer, you mentioned the size of the club and the community, and you're playing against Kilmacud Crokes, the biggest club in Ireland, away from home. And obviously that's something that it might not have been shocking your four walls, but it got a lot of attention. And I'm listening on the radio yesterday to the closing stages, and we were in a point up in injury time that seemed to go on forever. I'd imagine, I know you got the extra point to kind of seal it right before the full-time whistle, but that 5 or 6 minutes beforehand must have been the longest 5 or 6 minutes of your life.
There was one stage I had asked the referee how long was left. I honestly felt that we had played 25 or 30 minutes already at this point, and he said to me there was 13 minutes left in the clock. I was like, how is this possible? But he was stopping the play for every free and for every sub that was coming on. So whenever he did blow the whistle, I was then thinking he blew it up too soon. But whenever I watched it back this morning, there was 7 or 8 minutes of extra time played, which is nuts, but brilliant that we still managed to get over the line, and we stuck with it to the death.
This is not going to be your first time playing at Croke Park, though, because you played with Antrim in Croker in 2016.
Yeah, that didn't really go to plan.
What happened on that occasion?
Do you know, that's nearly 10 years ago, and I'll probably never forget it. We had a great start. We were doing well. And then the second half, we just got absolutely destroyed. And it was a very humbling experience because it was a big occasion, and we genuinely thought that, you know, we were going on at half time and, you know, we could do it, you know, why not? But it wasn't to be that day. So hopefully in 2 weeks' time, we can rectify those regrets of the past.
You're coming up in 2 weeks' time against a juggernaut in Kilkerran Clonberne, who won their semi-final quite easily. They've won the last 4 All-Irelands in a row. If we thought that a juggernaut was overcome in Kilmacud, like, this is even bigger. Have you come across them? Have you come up against them in the past?
No, we've never played them, and that's not a bad thing. But you know, whilst I've mentioned that we're the new kids on the block, and you know, there's a bit of a hype about us at the minute over the last 24 hours, but you know, we're not naive. We are fully aware that we have an absolutely mammoth task ahead of us. They're 4-time All-Ireland champions, 4 in a row. They're hot favourites. Nobody will be giving us a chance, and fair enough, rightly so. We've absolutely no right to waltz into Croke Park and dethrone the champions, but we will absolutely give it a good rattle. There's no reason, we believe that we can do it, but we're fully aware that it'll be the hardest 60 plus minutes of our playing careers probably. But personally speaking, there's nobody else that I'd rather be playing in an All-Ireland club final. You know, you want to be playing the best. If you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And, you know, there's a great opportunity for us, no matter what happens. We'll be right up against it. And, you know, we love a challenge. So why not up against the best at the minute?
Listen, Eleanor, it's an amazing story so far this season, and you'll have the very cathartic moment if you do win to say into a microphone that everybody wrote you off, which has been the theme of 2025. We're going to let you go. I know Maxi Kern has you in training there in 15 minutes' time, so I appreciate your time with us here. He's a tough taskmaster, obviously, but it'll be all worth it in 2 weeks' time if you get the job done. Best of luck in Croke Park, Eleanor, and thanks a million for your time this evening. Appreciate it.
Boys, thank you very much.
That's Eleanor Mallon of St. Ergnats in Moneyglass, conquerors of Kilmacud Crokes yesterday.
What a story.
What a story. You've got the rest of the Gaelic games of the weekend, Stevo?
Indeed, Owen. Scottstown will face Kilcoo in the final of the Ulster Football Championship. The Monaghan champions needed a penalty shootout to book their spot in the decider. Darren Hughes scored the crucial spot kick as they saw off Newbridge in the semi-final.
Rory Beggan has been in, like, I don't know if it's been 5 or 6 penalty shootouts now. He's never lost one.
Has he not?
No. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. That's. Anyway, the teams did finish level, 2:16 each after normal time, and then 2:20 each after extra time before that penalty shootout. St. Bridget's edged out Moycullen in a tight Connacht football decider. The Roscommon champions held on to win 116 to 114 at Dr. Hyde Park. Anthony Cunningham, I was actually scrolling through social media last night. Saw our colleague from the 42, Fintan O'Toole, just mentioning Anthony Cunningham winning his 3rd provincial senior club football title as a manager. 2006 winning the Connacht with St. Bridget's, then 2011 Leinster with Gary Castle before doing Connacht again with St. Bridget's. It's quite the career he's had across 19 years. Conor Hand's 7-point haul keeping Cunningham's men in touch in a contest that ebbed and flowed, and he spoke to our own Tommy Rooney after the win.
Yeah, look, it was a real tough battle. It was probably one of our poorer first half this year as well, and probably disappointed with it at half time, but I think we went out in the second half, and we went out with the mindset that we weren't going to lose no matter what. And thankfully, look, it wasn't brilliant, it wasn't perfect, but it paid off. A little goal by Rory Fallon was a little creme on the top there. Yeah, I suppose naturally as a team we're we're sort of forward-minded, attacking-minded, so it kind of comes to us natural. And when we get into a flow, there's nothing more enjoyable. So it's probably just this year we have to be focused on our defensive mindset, which is probably the weaker side. But thankfully, we were getting better game by game. And look, it's any day when a kind of final now, it's enjoyable.
Ballygunner are the Munster Club hurling champions once again. They were no match for Éire Óg of Clare, taking the final by 21 points to 1-9. Here's the Ballygunner coach, Fergal Hartley.
How does it feel? Sure, look, it's amazing from our club perspective. I suppose it's something that if you go back over our history, it's not something that I suppose we've now. With a record number of Munster Championships, we've won our 6th, and if you go back, I suppose 20 odd years ago, it's just something we couldn't have even dreamed about. It was never necessarily even on our radar, and now that we're here, it's just an amazing feeling. And you never get, people will think that how can we be as hungry as we are, because you just can't get enough of this. I mean, this is what all these guys and all of us, whoever got involved in hurling, got involved for to win games like today, to play in Munster finals, to play in Thurles, to play in the biggest day in Munster club hurling, and to come out winning. It's just an amazing feeling.
Fergal Hartley there, and as mentioned, Kilkerran and Clonburn's Drive for 5 still on after booking their place in the All-Ireland Senior Women's Club Football Championship final. They beat Comera Rangers by 11 points and will play in a 6th final since 2019, and of course playing, as we've spoken already about, St Ergnats of Moneyglass in that decider after they beat Kilmacud 112 to 110.
Right, after 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, actually, on Off the Ball Breakfast, they're going to have a piece with Glenn's Enda Gormley, because they released a club statement over the course of the weekend against the extension of the inter-county season. So there's an upcoming Congress motion around lengthening the inter-county season, so pushing the All-Ireland finals back to mid-August from 2027 onwards. Watty Graham's Glen have opposed this. They've written to all inter-county secretaries around the country, and as I say, Enda Gormley from the club is going to speak to the lads on Off the Ball Breakfast tomorrow, so that should be a really, really interesting piece. They're live from 7:30 every weekday morning.
Yeah, they were suggesting in it, which I think is a bleep, but it'll be interesting to hear what they say tomorrow morning, that extending the inter-county season will lead to players not representing their clubs eventually if we continue to go down that road and becoming semi-professional, and so it'll be an interesting conversation. Should just mention a couple of those pieces there, like Ballygunner's performance yesterday against Éire Óg was astonishingly good. This is a county team in club colours. They are absolutely brilliant. Stephen O'Keefe, who hasn't played for Waterford I think in 3 years now, could still be the best goalkeeper in the country. Desi Hutchinson was unbelievable. It was just a brilliant team performance. They absolutely swatted away an Éire Óg team that nobody's really been able to get too near all year, in Clare or in Munster. So that was unbelievable. And then just another, I thought there was a lovely touch in the Bridgets. I think there was co-captains lifted the cup, and he gave a really, really good speech about Bridgets, about Moy Cullen. And when he was talking about Moy Cullen, mentioned Don Cadell and obviously Roscommon player who was associated with Moy Cullen. And it was just one of those, when you just see the perfect GEA speech that makes you realise how much of a community-based endeavour the entire thing is. It was just really well done by him.
Class.
Does sound like you're saying Waterford are a tip for the All-Ireland final next year, is that what you're
half of them are retired or not playing for Waterford, so Ballygunner maybe.
You might run us through the rest of the day's news, Stevo.
Just give you a couple of football stories at the end of this. The FAI have announced that the Men's Premier Division the SSE Electricity Men's Premier Division 2026 season will start on Friday, February 26th. They will also play the Men's President's Cup between Shamrock Rovers and Derry City on January 31st. The women's version between Athlone Town and Shelburne will be on March 8th, ahead of the league season commencing on March 14th. The men's first division kicks off on February 13th, while the men's FAI Cup final at the Aviva Stadium will be on November 8th, with the women's final at Tallaght Stadium on September 27th. Derry City, meanwhile, have confirmed the signing of defender Rob Slevin from Galway United. The 27-year-old spent 3 seasons with the Tribesmen, while Galway themselves have signed the former Bohemians winger Chris Twardek from the Canadian side Valour FC. I've incidentally just emailed the President's office just to find out if Catherine Connolly will be in attendance at the President's Cup. No reply as of yet, but we'll keep you posted on that one, folks.
On the pitch, I would suggest, is where we
without a doubt. Half-time entertainment.
That's it. Stephen Doyle, thank you very much for our extended Monday Newsround. Still to come this evening, we're going to be speaking to Fiona Hayes and Ross Harris on Monday Night Rugby after 8 o'clock. The football show from 9 with Rich Jolly and John Broom will take a quick break. Do get in touch on WhatsApp.
Off the Ball on Newstalk.
Oh, 087 180 180 is the WhatsApp number.
Well, Woody just informed me that he doesn't do WhatsApp.
No, I'm not a social media person.
That's not
social media.
And I didn't text anyone in the media or go on WhatsApp or whatever they're going.
Is this the worst farrago in WhatsApp history?
No, this is a non-WhatsApp story.
I've got off WhatsApp.
I speak more to lads on WhatsApp than we've ever spoken on mobiles or text. WhatsApp has been a great invention for bonding men together.
That's 0879 180 180, 0879 180 180.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa's here with an important message for all good recyclers. Whether from toys, tech, decorations, or devices, never ever bin batteries. Always recycle for free. It's easy. Just return your old batteries for free recycling to your point of purchase. Or find your nearest drop-off point at weireland.ie. Let's keep our planet safe and bright.
Get our biggest Christmas savings yet, with up to 50% off Christmas at Woodies. That's 50% off all Christmas decorations, 50% off all indoor and outdoor Christmas lights. And if you're looking for the perfect tree this year, you'll find up to 50% off Christmas trees too. But hurry, offers only while stocks last. Shop in store, online, or with click and collect. Woodies, we're all homemakers. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
At Super Value, stock up with 7-Up, Club and Pepsi 18-pack.